Good morning, folks. I'm Nick Hawks with Paleo Treats, talking about the 7 Pillars of Paleo idea. This is how we explain paleo to people that come in and want to know what's going on, right? Everybody starts with a diet. We go way beyond the diet into the rest of the 7 pillars. Today we're going to be talking about the second pillar, which is your body, right? What can we use this thing for? What can it do? And what are some good ways to explore it? So we start off with the basics, right? Is saying, hey, explore your body through the use of exercise. So you can go, the classic progression: walk, run, swim, climb, cycle, anything out there, fencing, it doesn't matter, skateboarding, just kind of the use of your body in exercise land, right? How do we take this thing, this vessel that all of us have, and learn how to use it? So in very basic ways. Maybe go to the gym, explore the use of your body. Now, none of these things have to be super crazy, super intense yet, right? We're gonna start off with basic stuff. So if all you can do is walk, go for a walk. If you want to go beyond that, you want to go to the gym, but maybe you don't have the money to join a super expensive gym, start with burpees, right? Start with really basic stuff. Begin to explore the use of your body and then go from there. We don't have to jump straight into being Olympic athletes, right? We were all given a model. This is a 1977 model that can do extraordinary things. But it's not going to do extraordinary things overnight. It's going to take a while to do them. And as we go and narrow our focus into doing one thing really well, for example, for me it was running, we realize that we're going to lose some ability in other areas, even as we gain ability in that, right? So when I ran Leadville and did a 100-mile race, mostly above 10,000 feet out in Colorado, my ability to lift really heavy things went down, and kind of all of the other things that were associated or not associated with running went down a little bit, but my running ability went up. And that's the magic of this whole body piece, is that we can shape and form and move it into doing certain things at certain times in our life and really explore what this thing is capable of. So this is the basics of movement, but that's not where, or the body, but that's not where it stops, right? And that's, I think, the thing, is that most people stop with this idea of the body with just those basic movement ideas, right? So they stop after they've become a really good walker or runner or swimmer or whatever. And what we see as people get really into exploring paleo is this idea of, first off, in your exercise, increasing quality and focus on the intensity and duration. Right, so really the stuff that you've got to remember as you're doing this, if you say like, well, Nick, I already run or I already swim, is start thinking about, and this is basic kind of exercise science stuff, intensity and duration, right? So if you're already doing some running and you say, oh, I'm kind of bored, I'll just stick with running because that's easy and almost everybody can at least work up to it. Oh, I'm pretty bored with running around my neighborhood. I do a 2-mile run 3 days a week and it's getting old. Okay, play with intensity. So start doing 40 meter, 100 meter, 200 meter, 800 meter, 400, whatever it is, sprints or harder runs, and then see like, okay, can you run more than 2 miles? Can you go 4 miles? Can you go 8 miles? Can you go 16? Can you go 32? The answer to all those, by the way, is yes. It's 100% yes for almost every healthy person, right? Even if you're missing legs, guys are running marathons. So sure, there are excuses, but there's not very many of them, and most of them are shitty. Most of them you can actually do all of the stuff, at least when it comes to running, and you can definitely play with this idea of intensity and duration. So it's that second stage where you start to explore the engine, right? As we did the basics, and now we start to say, okay, well, what can this thing actually do when I start to push it? How intense can I get? How long can I go for? How much can I lift? All of those things. And that's kind of step 2 of exploring what your body's capable of. Step 3, as we think of it, is really thinking about, okay, how do we get this body, this vessel, to work at an optimum level, right? Because you can work out super hard, but if you're not taking care of it at a kind of a physical body level, then you don't get the max out of your body that you can. And we were given this gift, we were given this model, so let's figure out how to use it the best we can. And that will come from some pretty basic stuff like massage, and as you go into that, you'll start to hopefully discover and explore acupuncture, maybe check out Rolfing, check out cupping, and all of those things that someone else or you can do to your body. Check out the mobility. look into the various stretching stuff, looking into rolling your muscles out, all of these different things. Explore your body. This thing is an amazing piece of equipment. All of us have it by definition. That's what we get, and the vast majority of us underuse it, and it's one of the sources of joy that all of us have. So figure out how to use it. So basic use of the body, exercise, diving into intensity and duration, so kind of really getting into it, and then starting to figure out how do I make use of all of the aspects of my body. One of the important pillars that we're going to get onto later is touch, and so the massage, the acupuncture, kind of use of another person to manipulate and release and do the rest of it with your body. Go ahead and definitely get into that. And then at the kind of far end of the body spectrum is we start to say, all right, learn to listen to your body. And a lot of us don't listen to our body. We walk around with aches and pains and we just ignore them, or we think they're normal. It's not normal. All right, what is normal for you as a human, shaped by 2 million years of evolution, is to walk around with a fully functioning, fully operational, super strong, powerful, fast body that will do anything or almost anything you ask it to do. It'll climb that building, it'll run that mile, it'll dive down 30 meters underwater, it'll do anything that you ask it to do, but you do have to kind of take care of it a little bit. And so that's the exploration part. So then we start to move into this exploration, and I've written about this, but this idea of comfort and uncomfort. And so looking at, okay, it's super comfortable to be on the couch, it's fairly uncomfortable to run 800 meters repeats. So what's the balance between those? Because we can't spend all of our time on the couch, we can't spend all of our time running repeats or lifting heavy weight or whatever your flavor of exercise is. How do we get into that? How do we explore that? Well, it's not just an exercise, it can also be an environment. So can you be in super dry environments, super wet environments, super cold environments, super hot environments? How do you handle all that? Right? And so we tend to think of ourselves like, oh, I'm a hot weather person, I'm a cold weather person. It's not totally nonsense, because you may have a liking for one or the other, may find one easier to deal with than the other. But if you were delivered as a baby to any culture, to any environment, to any place in the world, and raised there as, as a human, 30 or 50,000 years ago, you would adapt and do just fine and thrive in whatever environment you're in. All right, so that's your right. You have the responsibility to explore that. So go out and explore. How long can you withstand cold? How long can you withstand heat? Can you run in the middle of the day in the summer for 10 miles without any problems? The answer, yes, you can. Maybe not right now. Maybe that's definitely not something to go out right now and explore. If it's June 21st and you want to try it out, something to work into, but it's something that you can eventually work up and do, and it won't take that long. Can you withstand cold? Can you go out on a winter day in shorts and go for a hike in pretty much any part of the continental US? Yes, you can. Do you need to work up to it? Yeah. Can you go into cold water for a long period of time? Yes, you can. All right. That's exploring this kind of comfort balance and seeing what you can do as a human with this vessel that we've been given. I talked a little bit about touch already. That's super important. So we're going outside of this idea just of exercise and saying this is your body. Figure out all of the different ways what feels good. It feels good to hold hands. It feels good to hold hands with my wife. It feels good to hug, right? Obviously, sex feels great for pretty much everyone. Explore all of those things and know that touch is free. It's free to hug someone. It's free to put your arm around them. It's free to put your hand on their shoulder and give them a squeeze, and those things all feel really good, obviously where appropriate. But don't be afraid to use this thing. We've been given so many free things that are ours to use and to utilize that a lot of us just kind of blow off, or we let a cultural norm get between us and joy, right? So I'm not saying run around naked and hug people and just go crazy, but certainly figure out what are the centers and the activities that give you a lot of joy, that give you a lot of comfort for free, that people around you are okay with you doing, and then do them. Do them a bunch. This stuff is really important. We're given this thing. I keep coming back to this theme. We were given this thing to use and explore to the best of our ability. And if all we do is sit on the couch and do nothing with it, then that's our fault. So then the last part of this body part is exploring your limits, right? We kind of talked a little bit about that as how long can you go in the heat, how long can you go in the cold, how much weight can you lift, how long can you fight for, all of these things. And this last little piece of the use of the body that is a pretty magical aspect of life to explore, and that's the ultra endurance events, that's the strongman competitions, that's getting in the ring and squaring off against another human or another couple humans in a fight, whether you're doing that with sticks like Lee, where she does her kali, practices knife fighting, or whether you're going out on a solo venture and seeing just how long and how far you can push your own body in an environment. All of those things are important and a part of this whole idea of the paleo lifestyle and going way beyond just, what do I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's the 7 pillars of paleo. The pillar number 2, the body. That's a pretty good explanation of it. Definitely let me know if you have any questions and go out and explore that amazing gift that you've been given. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao, ciao.